Let's take a look at the best pitchers and the best hitters for the Miami Marlins this season.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Marlins. I'm your host, Jeremiah Geiger. I'm a diehard Marlins fan, and I've podcasted about the team for the last 4 seasons. You can find me on X at Jeremiah Geiger too. And thank you for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every single day. Hit subscribe on the YouTube channel and let me know your thoughts in the comments section. If you're watching on YouTube, I chuckle because my dog, Juno, is behind me just chilling on the couch. So there's a dog for you guys watching the show. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. On today's show, we're going to look back at this season in totality. We still got a month to go, but I want to talk about some of the standouts on the pitching side and on the hitting side, and then take a stroll down memory lane and look back at that 2016 season. I think it's time to go back in Marlins history, and we're going to start incorporating that more on the show, reflecting on some past seasons that were fun ones, that were special ones for the Marlins in their history. Let's start with the pitching side of things. I have 3 names and an honorable mention who I believe deserve a lot of credit this year, who have been the best / most consistent pitchers for the team this year. I'm going to start with Edward Cabrera, and I featured him in yesterday's show about how great a season he's had. Unfortunately, it's coming to an end, and that's never a good thing. You never want an injury. It's devastating news if he is to miss extended periods of time, including next season. But just to touch on how good Edward Cabrera has been, he's never really had this amount of success ever. He was a top prospect with the Marlins, all the talent in the world, all the pure stuff you could ask for out of a starting pitcher, somebody who profiles to be elite at the major league level. And this is the year he's put it all together. My 2 favorite games from Edward Cabrera, one of them is quite recently, or he had 2 of them against the same team, against the Braves. And they both were recently, going back to August 8th in Truist Park during that series, which was just so frustrating for Marlins fans. Cabrera goes 8 innings, 1 run, just 2 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 11. That was fantastic. It was the only win for the Marlins for the Marlins during that series. And then you go back just about a week ago at home against the Braves, 7 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, and it was 7 shutout innings. Both times he surpassed 100 pitches. The first start against the Braves, 109 pitches. The second start, 100 on the dot. So good to see his pitch count up there and just pure domination against a team I don't like very much. Cabrera, he's had a special year, setting career highs in innings. He's striking out everybody. Career high in his walk rate. He's been really, really good. And I think it's not far-fetched to call him the best Marlins pitcher in 2025. The second pitcher, baby goat, Yuri Perez. What a season for Yuri Perez. He hasn't had that major drop-off coming off of Tommy John surgery. Yeah, it took a couple of games to figure out. He was getting back into the saddle, and there was some work to be done. With his first start against the Pirates, the Nationals, he was struggling a little bit in terms of control, and then it all clicked. He was on an absolute heater and just showed signs of Cy Young potential. I firmly believe that Yuri Perez is going to be a Cy Young finalist, going to generate a lot of Cy Young votes in his career and probably end up winning one or two or three. Who knows? The potential is sky high. Still just 22 years old for the 6'8", 220-pound right-hander. He's made 15 starts this season, 71 and a third innings, struck out 70. In the month of August, he hit a little bit of a roadblock, and that's due in part to, of course, the Atlanta Braves being the Braves, in which he gave up 3 bombs. And his most recent start against the Mets, he just didn't have the command. He ended up walking 2, giving up 3 hits, 5 earned runs. But I'm looking for him to rebound much better and have a much better outing his next time up. Yuri is special. He's one of the most talented pitchers that the Marlins organization, dare I say, has ever seen. Going back to Jose Fernandez, I'd throw him right up there in terms of just pure talent from a prospect, from a young pitcher. If you're a Marlins fan watching the show, you know how electric and how talented Yuri is. It starts with that fastball, high 90s fastball. When he locates it well, batters can't square it up. It's got great movement. It's as close as to a dominant elite four-seamer that you'll find. I don't think you can find many four-seamers much better than Yuri Perez. It's pretty close to unhittable. His secondaries really good. As long as he locates them, then, like I said, the sky's the limit for Yuri. The third pitcher I want to bring up today, Ronnie Enriquez. Ronnie Enriquez, I think, is somebody that the Marlins can do 2 things with. They can either make him the closer for this team in 2026 and kind of go back to the traditional 8th inning setup man, 9th inning closer, if they want to go that route, and just turn him loose for the 9th because he is electric, as a 32.3% strikeout rate indicates, strikes out everybody. Or they could possibly end up moving him, assuming he finishes the season strong. Then relief pitching is always a candidate to be moved, and Peter Bendix does a great job of finding the diamonds in the rough and developing relief pitchers. I think Ronnie Enriquez, given the years of control, I talked about this before the trade deadline, he was an attractive candidate to be moved. I thought the Marlins should move him at the deadline. They didn't. They held on to him, and post deadline, the last month or so, they've barely pitched him. It's not that he's unable to go. There's no health concerns with Ronnie. I think they're just being extra cautious. The most cautious you could possibly be, and much to the frustration of Marlins fans, that's just how it is. It wouldn't shock me if Enriquez is traded at next year's deadline if the Marlins are out of contention. If they're in contention for a wild card berth, for a postseason run, then that's the X factor in your bullpen. I love Tyler Phillips. Ronnie's got better stuff than Tyler Phillips, and he's got the swag you want as well. Phillips is a madman. He's got the mentality for a closer. I think Ronnie does as well. It wouldn't shock me if you see Enriquez get the majority of the reps and the save opportunities in 2026. He's already pitched in 62 innings this season. 60 games pitched for Enriquez. So he's been called upon a lot. Now, needless to say, that's a career high by a ton. Before this, just a combined, let's see here, 40 innings or so, for 30 innings or so for Ronnie. Honorable mention, and it's not due in part to his dominance on the mound, but overall a very solid find. I quickly want to throw him out here. Jansen Junk, a minor league signing, a minor league free agent signing this past offseason. I'd never heard of him. bounced around the league a little bit. He spent time with the Brewers organization, the Angels, the Athletics. He's found a home in Miami, and I think he's put himself in a position to compete for a rotation spot in 2026. He's currently on a rehab assignment. He will be back next week, hopefully, and can finish the season on a high note. He's shown glimpses of just being a really good strike thrower, somebody that can eat innings for you, much like the Marlins wanted Cal Quantrill to do, and he didn't. Jansen Junk kind of filled that void left by Cal Quantrill. He's made 12 starts for the Marlins, 17 games total, an ERA of 4.09, and his bread and butter, his calling card is command, elite command with an elite walk rate. If you have a starter who just hates walking batters, then Jansen Junk is that guy. Just 10 walks all season long across 88 innings. That to me is just mind-blowing. The efficiency in which he's pitched this season for somebody that didn't have a lot of major league experience at all. Forced the Marlins' hand into calling him up. He was performing very well in AAA, and he's proved that he belongs at the major league level. Coming up next, we're going to move from pitching onto the hitting side of things. Who has been the best Marlins hitters, the most impressive? That's coming up right after this. Hey, Marlins fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving your money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. Everybody commutes somewhere, school, work, Lone Depot Park to watch the Marlins. So you might as well make some money doing it. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. And if you want to make it out to Lone Depot Park before the season ends to go watch the Marlins, you should check out Gametime. It's the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Also, all the fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. That is my personal favorite aspect of the Gametime app. There's not going to be any hidden fees. What you see is what you're going to get. There's no extra money involved. It's really simple. It's really easy. And it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than a lot of other ways to buy tickets. So download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. I appreciate you guys who tune in every day and make Locked On Marlins a part of your daily routine. We're talking about the best hitters for the 2025 Marlins, and I got to start with the all-star, Kyle Stowers. Although he's injured right now, and I'm not sure if he's going to come back. In fact, I would argue there's really no reason to rush him back. Just let him get healthy for next season. Stowers has been nothing but spectacular when he's playing for the Fish. 25 home runs. He paces the Marlins. He's hitting .288, an OPS of .912. Of course, he was the Marlins All-Star representative in the Midsummer Classic. 21 doubles, 3 triples, and this is across 117 games. An incredible turnaround for a player that was cast off by many after his struggles a season ago. Kyle Stowers has proved to the fan base, he's proved to the organization that he's here to stay. He is part of the long-term infrastructure of this organization. I think Stowers is going to be an all-star many years, many years in the future. Just as long as he's a Marlin, then I'm happy, because this guy's really, really good. Somebody that, right around that all-star break, there was some MVP talk. Kyle Stowers and MVP could be thrown in the same sentence, and nobody would really call you crazy. It was unlikely to happen, of course, with the stars in the National League, Kyle Schwarber and Shohei Ohtani. But I do believe that if Stowers had been healthy and hadn't gotten injured and played the rest of the season, then he would have been getting some MVP votes, because his play was certainly that of an MVP MVP level, if I can get that out correctly. Second player, Agustin Ramirez, the Gus Bus. How good has Agustin been at the plate? The energy, the electricity he brings anytime he steps in the box. Now, I did an episode a few shows ago in which I kind of laid out the stats when Agustin is catching versus when he is at DH, when he's the designated hitter. And it's clear, Agustin is a bat first guy. He's not known for his glove, but that's not what this segment is about. I'm just here to talk about why Agustin is a really good hitter and why he's been one of the best all season long for the Fish. First off, do you remember Giancarlo Stanton and the fear that pitchers had when pitching to him? Because at any given pitch, Big G could just smash it out of the park. That's kind of how I feel watching Agustin Ramirez. Anytime Gus Bus is at the plate, I'm pretty much expecting a home run. I'm expecting, now that might be a little bit of a hyperbole there, but I'm expecting to see something impressive. He hits the ball so hard, and the potential for a home run is there in any at-bat he takes during the game. Sometimes he can get chase happy, and sometimes he'll just hit a weak ground ball and roll over, and that's part of it. There's some adjustments that have to be made, especially against sliders and breaking balls. That's okay. He's a young player. He's a rookie. He had a home run against the Mets this past weekend. It was hit 111.5 miles an hour. Just smoked it at a 16-degree launch angle. Line drive, frozen rope to left center field. That is Giancarlo Stanton type power. He is the closest power hitter in terms of just skill set I think we've seen since Big G. You could argue Jesus Sanchez had more distance and power just naturally, but I'm taking Gus Bus. Maybe I'm biased now because we all love Jeezy, we all love Sanchi, but he's on the Houston Astros. But it didn't feel the same. This year has felt, even when Sanchez was on the team, it's felt that when Agustin Ramirez is at the plate, there's a legit chance he hits a home run, and it's better and more impressive than the last home run he hit. He's kind of your 3-point specialist, if you want to look at that in basketball. He's your home run specialist. That's what Big G was for years. Of course, Big G was an MVP and Silver Slugger, just possible future Hall of Famer. There's work to be done, but the power is there. Last player, and he might be the best out of all of them. As impressive as Kyle Stowers has been, as impressive as Agustin Ramirez is with his power, extra base hit machine, this guy has been quite literally one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball since his debut. Jacob Marcy. gets called up at the beginning of August, and lights the world on fire. Takes Major League Baseball by storm. He was making Major League pitching look like low A pitching. How comfortable he is at the plate, his approach, his discipline, not chasing pitches, the best chase rate in baseball. And this is somebody that's played for 1 month of Major League Baseball under his belt. Take a look at these numbers. It's just absurd. 31 games played. He's hitting .339 with an OPS of 1,022, 1.022. 4 homers, already 11 doubles, 3 triples, 25 RBIs, and 15 walks compared to 28 strikeouts. That's a stat line for you. And he's added 9 stolen bases. He checks the box of a legitimate 5-tool player. He's the center fielder of the future. I believe the Marlins should extend him this offseason. Give him money right now. Just give him the money. Secure him. Secure the bag. If you're Jacob Marcy and the Marlins have locked up a star, I think he's a star. And 2026, when he has a full season, oh, look out. The sky is the limit. A lot like Yuri Perez and just what he can do. Jacob Marcy is that guy. A true revelation for the Marlins and a testament to the scouting department and to Peter Bendix when they got him in the Luis Arias trade last season. Marcy is a stud. Coming up next, we're going to take a stroll down memory lane. And the year we're going back to is 2016. We're going to recap this Marlins team. What made it so fun as a Marlins fan to follow this year? This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, you just don't have the time for it, you feel like Monarch's for you. It does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, and get smart categorization of your spending without ever touching a spreadsheet. If you love saving money, you want to increase that savings rate, then Monarch is perfect. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. We're over 2,000 subscribers. Now it's the journey to 3,000. If you love the Marlins, this is the channel. This is the podcast for you. It's also on all the major podcast platforms. So if your go-to is Spotify or Apple Music, we're there as well. 2016 was a magical season for the Miami Marlins. One of the more fun seasons I've had as a Marlins fan. This team was actually stacked. Of course, it was also the last year Jose Fernandez, may he rest in peace, he pitched and for the Marlins. A very, very talented squad led by Don Mattingly. The team finished 79-82. And what people might forget, for those listening or watching the show, this Marlins team was 6 games over during the first half, 47-41. It was only a bad month of August and September that really doomed this team. They finished under 500 in the month of August, 10-18. A lot like 2025, where you're playing really good baseball and you just ran out of gas during that second to last month. In the month of September, they did their best to claw back. They finished 12-14 that month, ultimately just missing a 500 record and falling out of the playoff race. But how fun was this Marlins club? I think the 2016 season for the Miami Marlins, and when they were wearing the orange and the old logo, of all the years, that was the most fun I had. 2016 was the first year I ever went to a Marlins game. It was the Marlins against the Diamondbacks at Chase Field, and Justin Bour hit a big go-ahead grand slam. I believe I still remember the pitcher he hit it off, Tyler Clippard. So for all those baseball nerds out there like me and statistic nerds, you'll remember that name. He wore glasses and was a relief pitcher who played for multiple teams, and big Justin Bour got him there in Arizona. Really fun season. I think 2016 was the last legitimate shot that core had to make the postseason. And that's because the Marlins lacked pitching. Jose Fernandez was their ace, of course, and had a terrific season. But when he tragically passed away, it left a major hole in the rotation. And their trade deadline acquisition, the big one they made, acquiring Andrew Cashner, really didn't pan out well. Neither did Fernando Rodney, who, of course, wore the hat like this, did the bow and arrow celebration. The fun pitcher to watch, but didn't have much success on the Marlins. So going into 2017, how was this team going to replace the loss of Jose Fernandez? There was no way to replace Jose. It wasn't as simple as just signing somebody or trading for somebody. Jose was Miami. Jose was the fan base. He was everything that represented the Cuban community in South Florida and the enjoyment he had playing baseball. They called him El Nino. And I mean, just the boyhood passion for the game. And that was tough. It was very, very tough for the Marlins organization to move forward. There was no way you could move forward mentally, emotionally, and then, of course, the loss on the field. And so 2017 didn't go so well. The team still was competitive, but it was evident that they had to restart. That was the last year of Jeffrey Loria. 2017, they finished 77-85. Of course, Giancarlo Stanton had an MVP season, but the pitching was never there. They had guys like Adam Conley, Dan Straley, who was actually, to be fair, he was actually not that bad, but it was the pitching that held them back, much like in 2016. And in the 2016 season, they legitimately, I felt like they had a chance to make the playoffs. I remember watching in September, hoping desperately that this team could find a way to sneak in, and it didn't happen. For the Marlins, you know, Marlins fans, we don't have a lot of these years to kind of hang our hats on. 2023 was a magical year. 2016 felt like it could be magical from a team's perspective. Then you lose Jose Fernandez, and it just changed everything. And then that 2017 season, like I said, you still had a chance because of your offense. 2017 was the last year of that core with Stanton, with Yelich, Ozuna. They all got traded after that 2017 season. So 2016, they went for it. They were competitive. 2017, you lose Jose. You try with your offense. It didn't work out because you didn't have the pitching. And that's what it came down to. And then you rebuilt. You kicked off a rebuild that was headlined by Lewis Brinson. But a very fun season, nonetheless. Season I think back from time to time. And, of course, the lasting moment from that season was D. Strange Gordon hitting a home run off Bartolo Colon in the first inning, deep to right field, and circling the bases with tears in his eyes as a tribute to his teammate and his friend, Jose Fernandez. I'll always remember that for the rest of my life. And those who watched that moment as well, they'll remember that too. Before we get out of here, a quick note. It's another big moment on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Hawley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. And with that, guys, we're going to end it right here for today's episode. Until next time, stay safe, stay locked on, and as always, let's go fish.